So as business owners, we look at business, we always want to get things done, right? Hire me and I'll get things done for you without understanding on why we want to do it, without sharing all the why behind the background. And today we're talking about something to do with the authenticness of why you do business and bringing out the humanity of yourself in order to present your business out front. So today we are going to be talking about the whole process of storytelling on how to lever up your business in a different way. So we have Brian Stark as well as Paige Stapleton today. So welcome, guys.
Thank you. It's good
Yeah,
to
so
be
so
here,
excited to be
Lorraine.
here.
So with all this story, right? The I remember when we first met, and we spoke about, and I remember I said, guys, like I'm a very straightforward person, and I need help in storytelling. And we talked about that whole concept of there are two sides of the business and two people that we talk to. There's the left brainers and the right brainers. And I noticed the other days, majority of my clients are left brainers is because of the way I do things and I resonate more of the left brainers. So I think a lot of business owners have to understand the difference, number one, between that and number two, the power of storytelling. Because like as a child, I enjoy listening to stories and I remember uh, creating stories for my younger siblings. How did you guys come about with this whole thing of storytelling and helping so many business out there?
Well, that's a great question, and we're excited to be here. And I think I'll kind of flip the question around as far as kind of like the order. We'll talk about the brain in a minute if that's cool. We'll kind of deal with story first because I think story's the kind of the glue that holds everything together. And I think as a race, as the human race, we've been telling stories since we were in the caves. It's how knowledge got passed down from generation to generation before we had the written word. So I think we are hardwired, our brains, both left and right, are hardwired for story. So it's one of the easiest ways to, at a primal level, actually be able to communicate with other human beings. And as a business owner, until the bots take over and buy everything from us, it's going to be humans that are going to be buying and purchasing our services and our products. So we want to be able to speak to the humans, and stories are a great way to do that.
Because
My
histories are stories too. It's just how do you tell a
Absolutely.
story, isn't it?
It's just how you tell a story. And a really great story from a marketing perspective will actually hit both the left and the right brain. It will have that analytical piece, so it's actually checking the boxes because there's I was a COO for a while for a Inc. 500, 5,000 company, and there are SOPs and there are checklists and there are things and there's HR and there's all these rules that you have to follow. So that's really speaking to that left brain person who wants to check all the boxes. But then your right brain people who are in a lot of ways entrepreneurship. If you're a solopreneur, you're probably balancing between the two, but there's a lot of creativity in saying I'm going to go do my own thing. I'm going to step away from what everyone else is doing and I'm going to step out into the world and go out there. So that creative side, that really speaking to the left brain side of it, is really important, and that's where the inspiration and the dreaming comes from. And if you can tell a story through spoken word, through video, through a sales page, through your collateral, that both inspires but also reinforces the logical side of the brain, because we buy as human beings, we buy based on emotions, but we justify based on logic. And if you can hit both of those with your stories, with your copywriting, with everything, you actually will be able to get that 1-2 punch regardless of who's reading your copy, who's listening to your sales pitch.
Absolutely. And the thing I look at it is you if you have a potential of getting into the clientele of the right side or right brainers, like for me, right, then I
Yeah.
would do that. There's no reason of why you say, nah, like they don't think like me, I'm not going to work with them. It's opening that opportunity of helping as many people as possible. And through the concept of storytelling, at least you're covering both bases with the
Hmm.
data as well as the story where you're connecting with more. But for me, that's a skill to learn. And with like I had a session today, an event that I ran where it's always developing your weakness. Like, what's your weakest skill that you can develop in order to help as many people as possible, rather than just stick to that one skill that you have? How can you become even better? How can you stand out in order to stand out in your industry? So, with both of you, when you met, you came from different sides of the similar industry. Brian, you were a producer, and Paige, you were in the acting role. So it kind of the directional, because I had a podcast where I was interviewing a producer, actor, and producer, actor, and director. So it was very interesting from his point. But now that I have both of you together with both of your different inputs, like how do you see both of you complementing each other? Number one, because I know that I think that you both complement each other. And from that side, with the opposite sideness, right? Do you guys also tend to have this space of wanting to kill each other on the back end where we're not seeing?
Well, I mean, we've been together as a couple for almost 20 years. In October, it'll be 20 years. And the majority of that time we have had a business together. And I mean, listen, I'm not going to say that there weren't any bumps in the road. And yes, there's disagreements and where we don't, meet and we're not. Half the time we're saying the same thing, we're just saying it differently.
Yes.
We've we've kind of learned that about each other. But actually, we were actually very complimentary in the way that we work because Brian is like the big visionary person, and he is generally talking about things at kind of a pretty higher level. And then I'm like, and here's how we do it. So I bring it down to like, and here's step one, here's the systematic way of looking at it, versus it's and I think they work so well together because our clients, they can really have this beautiful dream and this thing that, and we're holding that for them as we're working with them. But also it's like, and they need to know what to do instead of just like, okay, what do I do now? That sounds awesome. How do I do that?
So
So I think
you're like the chat GPT for Brian, right?
a little bit, yeah.
You
I love
summarize
that.
things. Like I remember a joke I was telling people that when a client sends me an essay, I tend to put that essay in ChatGPT version to summarize. I'm like, summarize it so that I don't need to read the whole
Right,
story.
right.
So you're the
Yes.
ChatGPT for Brian, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many hats as an entrepreneur. There's so
Mm.
many. Like, we're very blessed that we work together so well and that we've been able to do this for such a long time. And there's so many different hats that we wear as entrepreneurs. And I honestly, like you as a solopreneur and the people that you work with, because that's your gig. And it's ours too. Most of our people, they work by themselves. And I have the utmost respect for people who are out there doing it by themselves for the most part. And I just feel so lucky that we get to work together. And I'm kind of more of the like sales and marketing part of our business. And Brian is really the creation and holding the vision for where we're going. And then I'm like, okay, what are our steps and who are our people? And, I
You're
always,
using the strengths that you have for both of you in order to create something,
yes,
an outcome, isn't it? Like
yes.
so with businesses, I know majority of my listeners, they tend to pivot, and the same with me, is pivoting from one industry to the next industry,
Mhm.
and it's changing it. It's using the skills that we have from another industry or another experience in order to bring it to the next phase. And I remember my family, and I know a lot of families do this too. It's like you're giving up. Like, why are you giving up so easily? Are you just somebody that can't stay still? But we know differently as business owners. So for you guys, like, how was your experience pivoting from a world of in the entertainment industry to suddenly going, you know what? Like, I want to help businesses in terms of their storytelling.
That's a really great question, and I think it's again I think the one of the loneliest things is to be an entrepreneur because so few people are wired to get that, and there are a lot of people there are a lot of gurus out there that are talking about starting your own business and your own side hustle and getting into stuff, which I'm all about it. I think that we are in a amazing time in the world where it's never been easier to create your own economy, to actually have be able to figure that out. But you kind of going back to that kind of creative piece we were talking about before, you have to step away from the tribe. You have to step away from the way that everything's been done. You have to step away from that corporate mentality and actually go out there because you have to wear all the hats, especially when you're starting up. You've got all the different things. And I think pivot's a great way to look at it. And I also think it's kind of going back to, where people are, why are you quitting and why do you always want to change stuff. It's like, it's not about quitting. It's only quitting if you totally stop. It's about the pivot. It's about the re it's about, I like to use
Knowing when
sailing,
to move on, right?
knowing when to move on.
It's
Yep,
respecting what you've learned, and then it's now
yep.
what's the next big thing.
Yeah, and the thing is that people who never get off the couch don't know what it is, what it feels like when you're not in alignment. And the only way to know that you're in alignment is to actually go out there and feel it. You have to feel if you're going in the right direction. If there's resistance that is your internal resistance in your mindset and your monkey brain going, no, 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 no. Or if there's resistance in the marketplace where I've got this idea, but I'm not positioning it right. I'm not selling it right. I'm not actually addressing an urgent concern for my audience. So they're not buying from me. And it's kind of like being able to pull at the string of both of those. And I like to use a sailing analogy because as long as you've got enough wind in your sail to get a little bit of forward motion, you can get your rudder in there and you can actually start to tack and catch the wind. But if you're not moving forward at all, you're at the mercy of the waves. So if you're standing still and you're not doing anything, you're not moving at all, you don't have the opportunity to pivot because you don't have any data to actually build anything on. It's all in your head. And because going through the education system that we have in our society, our education system is designed to make us really good workers. It's not designed to make us really good leaders.
Absolutely.
So it's being in that place of being able to have a little bit of forward movement, and the pivoting is the realization that oh, that's not quite right, but if I do this, or if I shift here, or if I move over to this industry, I might have a better experience. Kind of like even what you've done, where you started off in one industry, and then you shifted over here to business and supporting businesses. But there's a lot of parallels in the entertainment industry and supporting businesses and storytelling and marketing and sales. That's all story. You know, doing live television and doing movies and doing film and doing all that stuff is hits on the exact same emotional triggers, dopamine hits, psychology, all those pieces are still in play. It's just happening at a different level and in a different medium.
So when did you both know that it was time to move out of that entertainment industry into what you're doing right now? Like whose initial idea was this?
We actually I was I'll share my story really quickly. Then Paige can share hers. Paige and I met at a spiritual center in New York City. I was doing this big spiritual arc after going through a divorce and a whole bunch of personal stuff. And I realized that as I was walking this spiritual path, I realized that the way that I was being most of the week in the entertainment industry and that world and what that was not how I was aligning with where I wanted to be in my life. So I started to look at making the transition and kind of getting into coaching and into supporting people and into helping people and giving back. And that was kind of the transition that I saw happening. And at that spiritual center, I'd met Paige. I was still doing some entertainment. So I got to impress her with some backstage passes to some pretty cool events and stuff.
Yeah. It was
Wow.
At the time, but it was like, so for me, it was this realization that I mean, I had been in the entertainment industry since I've been getting paid in the entertainment industry since I was 14 years old. When I was 19, I was out on tour with the Rolling Stones. Like I've been in the industry for a very long time before I made the transition. And but it didn't align, kind of talking about pivoting earlier, it didn't align with where I wanted my life to be anymore and where I wanted to be. So coaching and supporting people kind of moving into aligning with their life purpose became the thing that I wanted to do. And then that evolved from being aligned with your life purpose to monetizing your life purpose, which then became the business and marketing coaching that we do today.
All right, flipping over to Paige. So let's hear your story.
That's my
Yeah.
story.
So, I mean, I really started kind of just exploring other things. Like I'm not making a lot of money as an actor or a singer. I had an all girls blues band in New York City. We could basically play anywhere. That's where I really started learning about marketing, because I actually first named the band Diva Blues. And when I went to the clubs to get bookings, they're like, if you call yourselves the all girls blues band, you can play here anytime you want to. And so
Like
I was like,
I spoke to Forbes Riley. I don't know if you guys know Forbes Riley. She's on Shark Tank. And she used to be,
I knew I'd heard the name,
so she used to be an actress, and she mentioned the same thing as an actress. You had to learn how to market yourself. And that was the skill
Yes.
that she developed through that.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, 100%. It's same. I mean, actors are entrepreneurs at the end of the day. You know, they're freelance entrepreneurs. I did my little hand up. Um,
We love
but
Zoom, by the way.
yeah. But I started just kind of exploring different things, and I was like, I got to go make some money. So I worked on Wall Street for a while. So I was exploring all these things, and literally, like, the way we got started actually building a business was listening to one of those. What now? This was back in the day. This was almost 20 years ago, but listening to a free webinar. And Brian was actually, things were kooky, too long of a story, but he was actually helping build lead pages for people for webinars and websites and stuff like that. And so he was actually building this one for a friend of mine, and she had started getting into entrepreneurship. And anyway, this I listened to this recording and I just started crying when I was listening to it because it's all about you don't have to. It was my big recognition that I don't have to live this 9 to 5 life, and it was kind of I guess it kind of like brought in the freedom that I wanted as an actor and a singer and expression that I
Is
wanted
it
and
really a
sharing
nine
my
to five job
ideas.
as an entertainer? Like, wouldn't it be like a 12 to 12? Like 24?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I was kind of getting out of the entertainment into like more of 9 to 5
Okay.
kind of
Okay.
stuff. So this was sort of like the in between for me of looking at that, and I listened to that, and I was just like, I can live a bigger life than I'm living right now. And I actually kind of hooked Brian along on the journey because I'm like, I'm going to invest in this mentorship. And he was like, okay, well, you go do that. And then as soon as I started working, as soon as I started, and it was just a, like live calls kind of thing. And as soon as I started listening to them, he was on board too. And then it went from there of like, oh, we could do this too. We could start
Mm.
our own business. Yeah. So it literally was such a switch of how I viewed life versus because we did start out as life purpose coaches. So it wasn't like, oh, I decided I'm going to go have a business. It was like, oh, I can have my own business and I don't have to work for other people. That light bulb was so huge for me. And I mean, we haven't gone back.
I'm going to bring it
It's
down to
been
the human touch, right? So you both as couples, because a lot of businesses sometimes they work as couples. So how is that journey for you being co-owners or working together in a business field? What would your advice be for those that are working together in the same business? What has worked for you?
That's because as Paige kind of shared earlier, we've had our ups and downs with the business. We've had things where it's you. Part of it is you have to know you have to know what you bring to the table and what you don't bring to the table. And the same is true for your partner. And I think this is true in relationships, and no matter what the relationship is, if it's intimate or not. I think you can get into trouble if in an intimate relationship, if you're not being honest with yourself and being honest with the other person as to because what makes our relationship and our business work really well is that there are certain things that are in Paige's lane and there's certain things that are in my lane.
Mm,
There's a lot of crossover. Like she's really, really good at marketing and copy and kind of some of the bigger picture stuff, but that's really my genius. She sees stuff that I don't see. She's actually able to reflect it and communicate it in a way that maybe I can't. So, and I recognize that. It's not like I have to prove that my idea is the best. I'm looking for what's the best idea for our business, what's the best idea for our clients, and whatever that is going to win. So it's kind of like getting my ego out of the way. And then the same thing I think on the flip side, I won't speak for her because that's how you stay in a good relationship is you don't speak for you don't speak for your brother person. But I think that's an important thing whether you are um whether you're no matter what the relationship is that you have with the person that you're in business with is kind of like just being honest with each other and asking for help when you need it.
But
I also
being active listeners, isn't it? Because that's what it is being active listeners and also open for feedback, whether or not it's feedback that you want to accept right now, maybe down the track, or maybe not at all, right?
Maybe in an hour or so. Yeah, but yes.
Right.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things in our relationship and in business is that we are each other's biggest fan ever.
Mm.
And we never forget that. And we always, we both really appreciate some kudos, some atta girls, atta boys, we thrive on those. And so we give them out generously. And so a lot of it is just, I've heard partners how they talk to each other, whether it's business partners or not, and we do not talk to each other that way.
Do you
We
know when
really
you
are
guys
very
can switch
respectful.
off? Like, because you see each other every day. So do you know when to switch off in the sense of, okay, this is work and now it's just home. We can just be home buddies. Like, how does
As
it
much
end
as
for
you
you
can
guys?
as an entrepreneur, I think. I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, we have the dividing time, because
At
we do not.
4:05 p.m. it's click. No, it's
Right.
like
Don't talk to me about that. I'll talk to you about that
no,
tomorrow.
it all depends. And I'm a because in like our circadian rhythms are different. Like I am creative at different times than she is. So I've learned that when I put stuff up for feedback and I say I don't need to know about this right now, just look at it when you get a chance. What that often does is it actually gets her to look at it sooner than later because I haven't said I need to look at it. I need you to look at it during your downtime, right? But it's one of those things. Again, it's kind of goes back to being honest with yourself about who you're in partnership with. Is like for me, I can get really creative in the, like late at night. Like I can actually things can really start going, or sometimes early in the morning. Like if it once it's quiet, if it's quiet in the house and it's just chill, my brain can start to go and I can start to think about stuff. But I know, I'm not gonna necessarily tag her in Slack and be like, "Hey, check this out right now." I'm gonna be like, I'll check in with her when we have our morning meeting. I'll just say, "Hey, I sent you something in Slack. If you could look at that sometime before this afternoon, that'd be awesome."
So you guys
I
do
also,
schedule morning meetings, hey?
Mhm.
yeah, we do. And the thing about our mornings is, and I think this is really key to our life and our business, is that we both have a morning practice. They are very different. Um, Brian he's pretty much this does the basic same thing every morning. He's a very scheduled kind of guy in
I was
certain
gonna
ways.
ask, like, what are your morning routines? Because that's usually the
Yeah,
question
Yeah.
I like to ask.
he is very set, and he's been doing it for since we met and before. And I am like, I can't do the same thing every day. I just can't. I cannot do it.
You can't eat the
Um,
same dishes every day. It's like you
I
gotta
just
mix it up.
can't.
I'm not sure
No.
she can do the same thing in the same hour. I mean, it's
But
just
there
she's
is, but there is the something to it. There always is an element of remembering the truth. So it's
yeah.
this reminding of what the truth is constantly, and sort of a reflection or reflective time. Sometimes for me, that is out dancing on our deck in the sun. Usually I'm not up before the sun. He is up before the sun. He's had his walk and worked out and done his morning practice with reading and writing and that kind of thing half the time before I even get out of bed. I have a thing where I call it my meditation, and I don't get out of bed immediately. And I have my journal there. I have some, I love the insight timer. I do some meditation, and sometimes I do a little work there.
But
If I'm
what's your
inspired.
non-negotiable? Because you say you're random, right? And then
Yeah.
Brian has his own set thing. So what is the thing for you, which is non-negotiable? You have to do it, but it doesn't have to be right now. It's just whenever during the day or night.
I would say it is that remembering. It is that connecting inside, because I don't think I just for me, I cannot say for other people, but for
Mm.
me, making sure that I am connected inside and cool with myself inside, that will support me going out into the world every single day. So, but you kind of, with everything coming at you, and
Mm.
some stress, like we've got a launch going on right now. It's a
So
lot
that's
going
your
on.
version of a reset, isn't it? Your
Yes,
journaling. That's your version of the reset. Everyone's reset is different, right? Like
different.
Brian's
Yep.
one has his routine. So Brian, what would you say is your non-negotiable? You have to do this even though you're traveling.
It is that getting centered piece of it, and there's
Mm.
different ways for me to get into it. I think that I've been doing my I would have said for a year, like for probably 20 years, my non-negotiable was reading something that was inspirational, doing some journaling, and doing a little bit of meditation. Like that's what got me into that place of quiet, and which back in my extreme sports days would have been, rock climbing or mountain biking down, like the things where you get the adrenaline is so high and you're so hyper focused that you can't, that there's nothing, there's no outside world. There's just whatever you're doing right in the moment.
Mm.
I've, over the last 6, 12 months, I haven't had to do as much primer work as far as being able to find that place and get to that feeling and have that. I don't know how to describe the feeling, but it's like this vibrational or humming that happens at this, kind of at my core, and able to, and that's my non-negotiable. I need to feel that every single day to remind myself that I'm connected to something bigger than myself, the universe, God, source, whatever you want to call it. But it's that thing that can go out in front of me and clear things out of the way, so I don't have to be stressed out as an entrepreneur about the what or the how. I just need to have the idea, take the action that I can see,
Yep.
and then have that knowingness that the right thing's going to be there at the right time. And the way
But
that I remember,
that too is your version of a reset too.
Yep, absolutely.
That people don't seem to understand. Like sometimes reset may be a structure, and Paige, you do have your own structure. Is that your structure changes time like the moon changes?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. And my
It's like a flow.
and I had I felt for the longest time I felt like I had to have the structured thing to create the space for it. And the realization that I have now is that I can just I can be driving and stuck in traffic and get to that place now, whereas 5 years ago, I would have thought I would have had to spend an hour doing meditation and doing all these other things to get there. But I do think the reps of doing that for so many years helped me to get to the place of where I can get there quicker now. So but that's how I had to get there. That was my way to get to the reset. Yep. But now I could literally, just kind of get there by snapping my finger anymore, which is awesome. Because before I met Paige, when I was starting my spiritual journey, it felt like I was never going to get anywhere near anything that felt
well,
like
you can't hike when we have a snowstorm here,
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
You got to figure out another way.
That's
So
right. That's right.
with what you guys do in terms of the storytelling world, I know there's a lot of storytelling coaches out there where they only teach, right? But you guys brought it to the next level. You guys brought it where you're not only teaching, but you created something with I think you guys call it a brain. And you help clients through that. That's why the whole concept of ChatGPT and cloud and all this different software and apps out there is you're taking it up to the next level. Whose idea was this, and how has it been working for you guys with your clients?
Well, that's a great question. I will say, I would like to claim it's my idea. I'll say it's my execution, but pretty much everything in our business
collaborative. Yeah,
is collaborative. But it's usually Paige complaining about something not working or needing something to be easier or to streamline a
now,
process.
Right? You can't do it. I need it now.
So me being
yes.
so we because I was, like I mentioned, I was the COO of a coaching company, and I had a 2-year non-compete. So I had to figure out a way I left there, transitioned out, and had to figure out something that I could do that wasn't involved with my non-compete. So I got back into video production, then started helping people with social media content. And I'd started using ChatGPT as soon as it became publicly available and started playing with it. So I started using AI with my video clients and my content creation clients to help them streamline the process and get things moving and get it going faster. And then Paige saw what I was doing with my clients, like using AI to help write scripts, but have it not write generic scripts, have it write scripts in their voice. So she said, "Hey, can you do that for me and my business for my sales coaching company?" I said, "Sure, I'll use you." So she became a guinea pig for us, and then we just kept developing ways to get AI to sound less generic and less, say, robotic, and sound more and more like, for me, it was sounding more and more like Paige and more and more like our clients. So you could more of a turnkey script writing process. And then that's evolved into doing training on AI training on specific story frameworks and structures that has evolved into being able to write marketing copy and launch and,
without people knowing that, it's a copy and paste from ChatGPT, right?
Exactly.
Because when a client sends me their homework, I'm like, you ChatGPT this, didn't you? Oh, at least I did my homework. I said, yeah, but we got to kind of bring it back to the human touch. Like if you want to use ChatGPT, You gotta kind of still read through it instead of
You still
copy
have
and
to read through
paste.
it because AI can hallucinate no matter how good it is, and it can make some stuff up and be like, what is that? What does that mean?
Right, like the image editing where sometimes an extra finger pops up or something.
That'll never happen. That'll never happen.
What would you say is your with the brain that you've created, right? It's helped a lot of businesses, and
Mhm.
I've been, one of those lucky people that have gotten to try it and worked with you guys. So with that, your experience with the brain, what can you say with the clients in terms of the outcome that they have? Not from my point, but from your client's point of in terms of the multiple amount of clients that you have.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and I can see that Paige has something to say, so I'm going to say it real quick, and then I'll jump back. The
I'm giving
I
you
think
20
that
seconds, Brian.
the most important
Split the
thing,
time.
and I'll say this is true whether it's copy, whatever you're trying to do, garbage in, garbage out. So if you can share with your AI the writing that you're the happiest with, the stuff that captures your voice, uh, video videos that you've done, reels that you've done, things that you can just talk to. My favorite thing to do is to have our clients literally just talk into, um, and you can even talk into Zoom anymore because it does transcription now, and just talk for 20 minutes, just normally,
By
just
the
how
way,
you
the
would talk.
transcription is not always accurate. I've been checking
No, no,
it.
it's no, it's it, there are actually there are some other AIs out there that are much better
Yeah.
at creating that. Otter is a great one, but also Whisperflow. But using that as a baseline so the AI can learn how you think, how you start to put ideas together, how you can start to do stuff. Because what the mistake most people usually do is that they try to perfect it and make it perfect before they give it to AI. So AI never learns how you think. It never learns how you put ideas together, and it certainly doesn't learn how you do punctuation or spaces or how your ideas don't happen in triptychs, even though
Mm.
ChatGPT thinks everything's in a triptych. But the but
Yeah, and I think that some of the biggest things that we've had happen for our clients is because we work with people who are kind of trying to scale to six figures or seven figures, and particularly people who have been in business for a while, and they're really trying to get that traction. Maybe they're pivoting, but they've created a ton of content in their journey. And like one of our clients, she had written like 197 blogs or something like that. So some people come to us and they're just like, I have all this stuff and I know I can be using it for, especially with AI now. And so that's one of the things that we're really helping people organize this breadth of material that they have been putting out there kind of scattered, in different places. I mean, sometimes it's just like I have it on this drive and this drive and Dropbox and Google Docs, all over. So we're helping them to like pull all that together, have it in one place where they can continue to access it. And it also is training chat or Claude or whatever you're using. It's training about how you do articulate and how you put your information out there. So I think that organization, that repurposing of work instead of having to start from the beginning every time, which is
Mm.
just so exhausting. And I think I think that was my big whine. It was just like, why is this so hard? Because I know I created this somewhere. I've already done this, a
Like
hundred
me
times.
accidentally deleting all my stuff from ChatGPT, and you guys are like, no, it's got nothing. No, I get it. I get it. It's like now it's nobody.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Yeah,
struggle is real. The struggle is
there's
real.
definitely some validity to
First world
backing all
problem.
that up. Yep. Yep.
With you guys, like since I've met you guys, like you are always on top of the latest thing and learning the latest things and trying to incorporate it to whatever you have, but also trying to help your clients out. I think that's
Yeah.
the most important thing for a lot of business owners that are trying to grow their business on top of helping as many people as possible. It's not just staying true to that old knowledge 20 years ago, is the
Mhm.
ongoing growth in business, like for myself, or ongoing growth in technology, since now you guys are incorporating technology and using it to our advantage and not being afraid of it taking over, but more of maximizing our effort in terms of what we need to do. So, like storytelling, it has helped us create something, but at the end of the day, we have to learn on how to edit and be the editors on those scripts, right? In order to make it sound like us, and it makes sense to the listeners. So that's the way that I look at it from, what you guys have done. You both of you have done amazing work, and you've touched a lot of people, especially with your warm heart approach and the way that you connect with your clients and me, myself. But I know we can talk for hours and hours because we've been doing that a lot, but this is just the tip of the iceberg for what Paige and Brian has done, guys. So if you want to connect with them or know more about what they do, I'm going to put down their links on the description below. And, they have a lot more to share in terms of the programs that they have and their amazingness. But guys, follow them on your social media. Like, if you want to know more about what they do, just hook them up, get a hold of them, and, they're happy to schedule a call and they can tell you what they have that may possibly help you in your industry. So Paige and Brian, I'd love to talk longer, as we always do. But, thank you for coming on and thank you for both of your time. Before we end, is there one advice you would give people out there in business? I'm going to say, because both of you are working together, I'm going to say people that are working in business together. What is your advice, Paige and Brian?
In working together?
Yes. So for business owners that are working together as a couple in their business, what is the one advice? And I know both of you will have different advice. What is the one advice you would give like your younger self back in the day when you first started out a business with Brian, let's say?
Well, I would say for me, because Brian puts out a lot of content in our work, and I have learned that old adage of start with something really nice and then with your feedback, and then give them the lowdown of what's happening. But to always be honest, I think that there were times in our way beginning that I would be like, just, okay, no, that's fine. Just you run with it. But I think that the more honest I've gotten, the better we work together, and it makes all of the work better. So,
and it's like you trust your guts before you spoke to Brian, though, because you felt like there was something that needed to be said.
Yes.
So trust your guts if you have something that you want to clarify, I think, right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And I think questions is a great way to approach that. It can be a really great way, instead of going, well, that was just terrible. I don't like this part right here.
That's me.
It's like, let's ask some questions. And because we're both a little tenderhearted at the end of the day, the two of us, like,
yeah. Fair. People are like, Lorraine, you're too straightforward. I was like, I'm sorry. Like, that's how I am.
No. We appreciate that about you so much. I love it.
Brian, if you could advise your younger self starting a business out with Paige together, what would be your advice to your younger self?
I'd say that it's the honesty would be the number one thing. Is kind of like, I think that's the recurring theme. But I also think it's like, for me personally, it's like, because I do put a lot of content out there and Paige does give me feedback on it. And it's to remember that it's not personal. It's about making it better, and I think that if you both have the same kind of goal, or at least you're going in the same direction, you've pivoted at the same time and you're going towards the same direction, and you trust that your partner wants to get there too, then trust them to give you the feedback to help move it forward. Don't just because you've got your ideas of how it should be doesn't mean that you should discount what they're saying. Because if you actually can listen to what your partner says, you can make something that's 10 times better than you could have made by yourself.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that's the same with any employees as well, not just the couples itself.
Exactly.
By the way, guys that listen. Yeah.
Exactly.
So people out there, if you do like this episode, please do like, subscribe, and share it. Like I said, get a hold of Paige and Brian. They're amazing people to speak to. And both of you, Paige, Brian, thank you again for your time.
Thank you so much.
So good.
And I shall catch you in person or virtually, who knows? But everyone else, I shall catch you on the next episode. So let's catch you then.
Thank you so much, Lorraine.
Have a great one, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye.